What is up, everybody? Time for a new week of Beyond the Gates for better or for worse. Shout out to Aaliyah and Bobby Wobby already in the chat. And here's hoping for a solid Monday of this show, but we shall see. Per usual, I will say that my Paramount Plus live stream is usually a minute or so behind the CBS streams, and I will be typing notes, probably loudly at times. Aaliyah and Bobby, how are you all this week? Hello, Bookcella. Welcome back. How are you? Hello, Exotic Butterfly. Welcome back. Hope you're well. All right. Mine is beginning with the old recap. Haley, you could say that for every storyline. It needs to move faster. Starting with Andre and Chelsea. It's too bad we won't see any of this Asian trip that they're going on. Hello, Z Hicks. Hello, Kaiwan. Hope you both are doing well. Kaiwan, I can't even think of anything that happened on Friday, so I guess not. True, Aaliyah. He did just finish cram before they went to bed. Hello, DGF. Welcome back. I know when I'm devastated from losing a loved one or a friend, I want to be woken up for sex right in the morning. That was sarcasm. At least Joey's getting a possible rival. I am back to wondering because of the preview if the Impaler could be Isaiah. Oh my god, they're gonna beat us over the head with Trash really does miss Doug and really does care about Doug. Look at all these old items she's looking at of Doug's. Hello, Diane. Does anyone watch any of the spoilers? Are any of them true? Are you talking about the spoilers on YouTube? Because they're always lies, if that's what you're talking about. Book Chalice says on Friday, Anita and Vernon tried to get busy, but were interrupted repeatedly. That was the exciting part. True. That was the best part of Friday's episode. Kaiwan, I don't think Joey's the Impaler. He's going to go meet with the Impaler. Hello, Denise. Welcome. I'm supposed to buy this shit from Vanessa. I hate it. Let's get to commercial. I don't want to watch these two anymore. I'd rather watch a drug commercial. Bring on the drug commercials. Oh, we're going to Ted and Shanice. Doesn't even get better. Bobby Wobby says, so Randy knows the Impaler's right-hand man? I guess so. Kathy says, welcome Kathy, who says, why do they think we want to see Vanessa and Nicole's same old conversation? It's the greatest question. They do this with a lot of people, the same old conversations, but especially Trash and Nicole. Nobody wants to see it. And Whitney says, that's what I thought. Thanks. Yeah, those YouTube spoilers are always lies. Book Chalice says, who brings a big old family picture album to a club? Vanessa to show that, look, I'm not over Doug, even though right when he died, I moved on quickly. But, 8 months later, suddenly, look, I'm not over Doug. Kaiwan says, then don't sleep with any other men you were sleeping with before Doug died and after. Thank you very much. That's why it's impossible to take Trash seriously. Hello, Dee Dee. Welcome. Bobby Wobby says, I'm looking at a beauty bar commercial. Mine finally went to commercials with the cereal commercial. Exotic Butterfly says, didn't June mention she knew the Impaler? I don't know if that's exactly what she said, but she knew of the Impaler. which I guess would imply that she knew about the impaler back when she was on the streets, so that the impaler would have been around a while. Elias says, "When you don't have a house, you have to travel with all your shit." Good point, I guess. Yeah, DGF says June knew the word on the street. Bobby Wobby says, "So the impaler's right-hand man couldn't go to the casino to schedule a meeting. I guess maybe that would give away who it is. I don't know. Apparently, it's on Joey's terms." Dee Dee says, "I know I mentioned that June also know who the impaler is. A person mentioned, why didn't Jacob take her on for questioning? Yeah, June should have at least been questioned more." Hello, Alvin Chapman. Welcome back. I wish Shanice could see that Ted sucks at everything. I'm not going to be paying attention to these trash and the co scenes. I'm just going to let you all know now. I will go respond to Love Island comments while this scene is going on. Kaiwan says, "And why in the world, Ted, would you think that your ex-wife wouldn't tell your new girlfriend that you want her to comfort him or her? Because Ted is stupid." Cassie says, "If Nicole only knew Trash is Leslie's friend too." DGF says, "Shanice's personality was one of a savvy woman who would not be bothered by Leslie nor be shook up so soon by Ted. The other Shanice would have been more fun to watch." I agree. I don't know why they changed Shanice's character for a trash relationship with Ted. All these scenes with Joey about the Impaler, and I doubt we actually find out anything this week. Dee Dee says, I wonder if Joey will mention anything about Bill's handshaking. Does Joey ever mention anyone's information that he has? Aaliyah says, so does Randy know who the Impaler is? I can't tell. Bookchella says, another filler episode. Yeah, I don't expect much to happen this week in general, honestly. Maybe something with the Young and the Restless crossover will be exciting, but I'm not going to hold my breath about that either. Dee Dee says, DGF, I agree. When she told, oh, sorry, I don't know what you're saying. When she's told Derek she will not be the second woman, I think you mean. Yeah, they've changed Shanice's character within the past couple months. So anyone in my comments sometimes that says, you got to be patient because Beyond the Gates is character driven. It's not, because they'd be changing characters on a whim. These Trim Fire scenes definitely better than Vanessa and Nicole's scenes earlier. Bobby Wobby says, Joey said that the Impaler got a serious body count, excluding Derek, but it don't make me feel good about the storyline because we are not going to see flashbacks of this Impaler having people knocked off. Yeah, they're going to tell us how dangerous the Impaler is. But maybe they'll be able to show us. Doubt it, but maybe. Hopefully. Kaiwan says the Impaler better be the guy from Queen Sugar. I'm out of here. Thank you very much. See you, Kaiwan. You want Kyle to be the Impaler? I think he's one of the strong possibilities. When when did this person meet with Joey, Dee Dee? I swear this show continues to act like Naomi and Jacob didn't meet up multiple times a week when he was supposed to be undercover. Bookchild says, I may stick around long enough for the Young and the Restless crossover, but after that, I'll probably take a long break. Blame the writers. They aren't even trying. I don't blame you for taking a long break. Yes, Aaliyah, they were always hooking up when he was supposed to be undercover, but they're acting like they were apart for months. Kaiwan, that's what Jacob was doing. Dee says, I really hope that Nicole doesn't take Leah's position. I don't really want that to either. Bobby Wobby says, this does so much budgeting that they don't hire extras to gamble at the casino after Doug died. True. They don't really have room for extras at the casino, though, either. Devin says AAA was freaking awesome this weekend, then Clash in Italy sucked. I agree. One was great, one was pretty bad. Though I don't know if Beyond the Gates is going to do a great job of distracting you from Monday's monotony, especially with Nicole and Trash on. Bookchella says, before Jacob went undercover, Naomi couldn't even stand to be around Jacob. Now they are always in bed. Yeah, that part doesn't really make sense either. They were having all these marriage troubles, just finally getting better. He goes undercover, and that makes their relationship stronger. Okay. I swear they do not write anyone in Nicole's love life like they're real people. Because if I was having fantasies of an ex, the last thing I would do is tell said ex who is in another relationship now. I would say more on the bad show side, Franco. Book Chalice says the budget is so tight. I've seen Lottie's husband who attacked Vanessa at the club having dinner with another woman last week. It's as if they think some of us will remember those details. Well, good eye, because I didn't pay attention. Dee Dee says, did anybody watch when Ted was showing behind the scenes? It looked like there was extra space. Well, I hope they use it. Hello, Franco. Bobby Wobby says, I wonder, are blonde women offended by Vanessa's blonde bimbo nymphomaniac image? I don't know. Miss Blue says, Trash is not a good friend. She's not good at anything except being a nymphomaniac. Dee says the writers seem to not know what people would and wouldn't do, which is why I push against when people say the show is slow because it's character driven. It's not. Exotic Butterfly says when Nicole, Ted's first love, he doesn't know shit about women. Trash wants Nicole to refresh her hoe facts by adding Ted to the mix. Yeah. And I don't know why Nicole would listen to Vanessa of all people. Why would she look at Vanessa's trash life as a therapist and decide, yeah, that's what I want to be? Dee says, wait until Nicole finds out about Vanessa and Leslie, if she ever does. Franco Vanessa is on today, which is a part of the problem. Z Hicks says, too much oil sheen on teddy bear's hair. Devin says Michelle Valjean just knows how to build a real storyline. Quit being a hater. Yeah, she's as good as Triple H is in the WWE. Devin. By the way, Devin, I know this isn't a wrestling show, but do you watch Triple A often, or was that one of your first times? Modern Triple A, that is, with Undertaker's booking. Bookchild says, I want MGV to retire her pen and take Tracy with her. They both do probably need to go. Maybe Michelle can stick around as a consultant since she created the show. I'm all for that. But yeah, let's get a new head writer or two new co-head writers. Denise says, this is a pitiful for Monday show. It's so slow. Always is. Franco says, that was one of my first times watching AAA. It's been the best wrestling show, or at least the most consistent wrestling show over the past couple of months that I've been watching. Devin says, I only watch the big shows like that one over the weekend. I know that was a slip of the tongue, Devin. Dee says, will you be doing live BB chats? I'm going to try this season during some of the live feeds. We'll see how that goes. I'm not going to guarantee I'm going to do live BB feeds, but I'll try. Yeah, Franco, that is the current head of creative for AAA. Kathy says, the writing is terrible. Who would tell their ex-husband when you are sleeping with someone else and you are thinking of them? Dumb. I agree. That's what I said. And she knows he's in another relationship too. And she's a therapist. It just doesn't really connect with me, with Nicole's character. I would take one of the characters doing a Tide or Febreze commercial today. They're promoting that Young and the Restless crossover for next week in the corner. I still think Isaiah is a strong contender for the Impaler. Book Child says the Duprees are too good. It's like MJF is I keep saying MJF. MGV is afraid to make them a complicated family. I feel like they started it much more complicated, especially the Danny of it all. She was like the black sheep. But yeah, now they are too tight knit. Kaiwan, are you talking about Isaiah and Andre? I mean, Bookchella, because he has a connection to Joey in the past, it's like Joey taught him how to be the next impaler. And there's a connection because Jacob's really trying to find this guy, and it turns out to be his brother. There is potential drama there. It also adds to Isaiah's storyline with Eva. Evan says MJF would be a good impaler. Yes. He would get heat on the impaler for sure. Not right now, Kaiwan. Right now in General Hospital, they got Curtis being the most annoying prick on the show. Just what the episode needed. Repetitive Joey and trash scenes. DD says the Impaler is supposed to be dangerous. Joey, no, the Impaler is not Isaiah. He doesn't know that if he doesn't know who the Impaler is, which he doesn't seem like he does. Bookchella says, do the writers not realize how stupid a plasma stilling ring sounds? It is just ridiculous. I can't take it seriously. It was an extreme thing to choose. Franco says, do you think the Impaler is a current character on the show? I mean, for the past month, I thought it was Joey's sister. That seemed like the most obvious choice to me. So I guess not. It's going to be really random if they somehow make a Young and the Restless character the Impaler. But it seems like they're setting up the reveal to be sometime between Monday and next week. Well, it's Friday and next week. Exotic Butterfly says Joey and his Hugh Hef jacket. DGF says Jacob and Naomi, Danny and Young One, and Nicole are the only characters with proper bedroom sets. Yes. And Danny, a bedroom set from the start. Devin, I don't know. I haven't really Googled it to see if there is a big market for the plasma. Exotic Butterfly says, I hope the Impaler is someone from Beyond the Gates and not Young and the Restless. Yeah, I don't know how they make it work if it's someone from Young and the Restless. Is the storyline going to cross over onto the Young and the Restless? The only thing Young and the Restless does is kidnapping, so that doesn't really fit. Dee Dee says, Leslie is asking Joey, what are we going to do about it? You mean Vanessa's asking Joey? Yeah, I don't know what she wants Joey to do. Kill Jacob? She's such trash, maybe. Miss Blue says, doesn't Vanessa have a job? She is always with Joey. She should have two jobs. She runs Heart Attached too, but yeah, and yet she's always with Joey. Bobby Wobby says, somebody said Victor from YNR might be the Impaler. I know I talked about that yesterday on the preview that, like, are they really going to make Victor Newman the Impaler? Aaliyah says, I think it will be Joey's sister. I think so too. Devin says, should we have a poll? Do we think the Impaler is A, Nicole, B, Joey's sister, C, Isaiah, D, someone from YNR? I think we need Kyle to be on that as well for E. Dee says Joey does know the Impaler. He said the Impaler is dangerous. That doesn't mean he knows who it is. He just knows that the Impaler has all these bodies, apparently. Book Chalice says Joey's sister or Matt Clark from YNR. Why not? He wears many hats. I was considering that too. Like, if it's anybody on YNR right now, it has to be Matt Clark because that's their villain. But it looks like a lot of you are saying Joey's sister. Exotic Butterfly thinks the Impaler could be Dr. Monica. That'd be kind of random too, though. Aaliyah says, nah, Kyle has kids. I don't think that's how he's rolling. What about Carlton then, if it's not Kyle? Dee Dee says, why don't you think Joey doesn't know? Because I feel like Joey's acting like he doesn't know to me. He needs Randy to set up this meeting. Miss Blue says, love Roger Howarth. Me too, most of the time. I don't enjoy Matt Clark on Young and the Restless, though. Franco the Impaler. Aaliyah says, I would say Carlton over Kyle to be the Impaler. Fair enough. So Nicole's still going to have this conversation with Shanice and then go still tell Ted, hey, I'm having all these thoughts about fucking you. Even when I'm with Carlton, I'm thinking about you. Yes, Bobby Wobby. Matt Clark was taught on One Life to Live, although I think it was the 90s and 2000s. Devin says, what if Sledge is the Impaler? You think they'd make him the Impaler after one episode? I mean, I always did hope we would see him again. Though I don't know how they make a homeless guy the Impaler. Aaliyah says, "Yeah, that's crazy for the psychiatrist to act like that." Agreed. Franco says, "There's a Franco from GH. I've never watched the show. I assume your name's Franco." I remember a Franco on Days of Our Lives long ago. Oh man, these Vanessa and Grandpa Gangster scenes are something. I agree, Aaliyah. Joey is boring us. Dee Dee says, "Why is Isaiah there visiting Joey? Because he's the Impaler, Dee Dee." Aaliyah says, "I told you they are slowly trying to make Joey and Vanessa the stars of the show." I mean, you could say the same thing for Naomi and Jacob because they act like they are the it couple of this show. Here she goes. Nicole loves to tell everyone about her fantasies of Ted, apparently. I mean, Kaiwan, it could be Jacob's storyline if Naomi would mention her gene to someone. Aaliyah says, "Why would she want to have that conversation at work?" I mean, her options aren't very good. She either has to have the conversation at work with Ted or in his hotel room. Devin says, "After last week, I thought Ashley was the main character. She was last week." Book Child says, "All the couples on this show suck. They have no super couples." I agree. That has been one of my main talking points for a long time with this show. They do not write good couples. It is Anita and Vernon. Although they did a decent job with Danny and Andre. They're just boring right now. Kathy says, "Who wants to see two old people every day? Are you talking about Grandpa Gangster and Trash?" Franco says, "What if the Impaler was the physical trainer named Diego that was in the earlier episode with Vanessa? Would that be random?" Kind of random, yes. Unless you think he's doing it to get revenge on Trash and Joey, perhaps. Devin says Nicole needs a therapist. She does. I mean, Didi, I'm mostly joking about Isaiah being the Impaler, but I do think it's a possibility. And also, his speech at the funeral that they replayed at the beginning of this episode is what actually made me think he could still be the Impaler, because like it was so random. Why is Isaiah, who I don't think ever had scenes with Derek that I can remember, speaking about Derek's death? Hello, Phoenix. Welcome. Happy Monday. I don't really know why she's having this fucking conversation. Franco says, "What if Lynette comes back as the Impaler?" Yes, that would be great. I'd be happy with that because it means Lynette's back on my screen. I'm sorry, works pure hell, Phoenix. Alvin says, Ted and Nicole. Book Chalice says, "I wish Lynette would come back as something, a ghost even." I do not want her to come back as a ghost or a vision. If they're going to have back, make it count. Okay, one says Nicole wants Ted to still tear that ass up. Exotic Butterfly says Isaiah might just be the Impaler or the Impaler's right hand man. Either way, it's going to break Jacob's heart. Grandpa Gangster will be happy about it. James thinks Michelle Valjean is the greatest writer of all time. Miss Blue says Lynette is dangerous. She's not dangerous if she's dead. Devin, you need to treat it like Big Brother, and you got to call one of them by their last name when they cast two people with the same names. Aaliyah says that would explain Randy calling for the meeting. If it's Lynette, yeah, that would make sense. Book Chalice says, literally nothing moved forward in this episode. It was a waste of airtime. You could say that about most episodes a month these days. Franco, I have watched a lot of challenge seasons, but it doesn't do it for me like it used to. Denise agrees it could be Isaiah. Well, maybe not if he's confronting Joey about Jacob almost being killed. It wouldn't make sense for Isaiah to be the impaler now if he's confronting Joey about possibly getting Jacob killed. Phoenix Rising says, somebody said Victor Newman is the impaler. I was speculating with that yesterday too, which would be an odd thing to try and pull off. Aaliyah says this last scene counts Isaiah out as the impaler. I agree. Book Chalice says, I can't believe Jacob is getting an award for getting Derek killed, right? For all that we saw him do, botching being undercover, he's going to get an award. Okay. I guess that's the nepotism at their police force. Devin says, just looked her up, and MVJ is very disliked by the BTG fans. I didn't know if it was just us or all. It's all. Yeah, this has become a recent thing over the past 6 months. I feel like people finally turned on her because the writing has been not great and slow. Bobby says, Joey gets a lot of visits. He does, for someone that's, supposed to be so menacing. Yes, Franco. Jacob is getting an award for such a great job investigating the impaler. James says Vanasti is unable to keep her mind off of her carnal desires and the carnal desires of others. Ted and Nicole could put their relationship away for good, while it looks like Danny and Andre will stick. I'm sick of just all of Vanasti's desires. I think Danny and Andre will stick for now until they move along the Bill and Haley storyline, if ever. Kathy says, at this point, I don't really care who's the impaler. The storyline is dumb and moving too slow. Aaliyah says, just because she invented the original story doesn't mean she has to stay. I feel like there always should have been a plan in place to transition her to consultant. Because she is not a spring chicken. I'm sorry, but she's not. Devin says, give half the award to Bradley. Speaking of Smitty, though, like, he was heavily involved in the storyline, and, like, where is he now in the aftermath? Miss Blue says, Victor Fists of Still Newman, the Impaler. To me, it would not fit the character of who I think of Victor Newman to be, but modern Victor Newman, sure, make him the Impaler. Dee Dee says the writers should take lessons from the Cotillion. It was great. The lesson they need to take is more younger characters, more time on the show. Franco says the award seems premature as we still don't even know who the Impaler is. I agree. Oh my God, now we got to deal with Vanessa acting like she gives a shit about Doug still. Give it a fucking rest. She can't even cry anyway. Kaiwan says, think about your ex-husband, trash. You lied to him and slept with Joey while he died in the room. Bookcella says, trash can lay there and turn to dust. I don't care. Agreed. Well, at least Shanice interrupted before Nicole could do a really stupid decision. Miss Blue says, Smitty, aka Jimmy Olsen, is back at the Daily Planet. Devin says, Doug sweaty ass gym shorts probably grew mold. Vanessa waited so long to get them from his locker. Yeah, because she just cared so much about Doug. It took her 8 months to do so. See, this is who they think are the stars of the show. Jacob and Naomi. Their most boring couple from Jump. And Naomi still doesn't tell him about the jeans. So what's the fucking point of them being the cliffhanger? Oh, well, here's our little preview of Young and the Restless. Looked like Kyle was about to kiss someone from this show. But I missed who it was. Dee Dee, how did who get in the room? Bookcella says, I just don't buy Naomi being that into Jacob. I mean, they don't have chemistry. Aaliyah says, so mad at Naomi. Bobby, does anyone know what day the crossover starts? I think it kind of starts Friday. I will say Victor is in the spoilers for Friday, so I don't know if that means we see him or they're just talking about him. So I would assume either Friday or Monday is when the crossover starts. Kaiwan says, isn't that the guy married to a blonde woman on The Young and the Restless? Who? Hello, Al Michelle. I'm here late. How was the show? It was a filler Monday, unfortunately. Bobby Wobby says married to Nikki. If you're talking about Victor, yes. Dee says crossover probably Friday. I think so too. Aaliyah says today was boring. Bookchala, you have a good day too. I will be back for my review of whatever I'm going to say about today's filler episode. And I will be back tomorrow for another watch along of this very, very exciting show. DGF says this may have been the slowest episode ever. There's actually been slower, but today was also not great. Aaliyah, I'll be here tomorrow. I'm still going to be trying to be here most of the week, unless Love Island takes a lot of my time. But honestly, that fan base is on my last nerve, so we'll see how that goes. All right, I will see you all later. Thanks for joining me per usual.